Well, Parliament's Section 194 inquiry into Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane's fitness to hold office has indeed resumed. Our senior SABC News reporter Bulelani Phillip has indeed been covering the story for us. Let's go live there then. A very good afternoon to you, Bulelani. All right, bring us up to speed then. What are we hearing at the inquiry today? I understand that there's a lot of talk about, the Ombudsman's offices in other African states. And why is that important? Why is that relevant to the proceedings today?
Well, good afternoon to you, Flo, and to the viewers at home. I think one of the things that the committee has been hearing is the experiences of other African countries and the rest of the world in terms of how they regulate the office of the public protector. Now, the witness that is currently testifying, Caroline Zulu-Sokoni, has been the ombudsman or public protector of Zambia since 2004. So she's giving her experiences as well as, the role of public protectors around the continent and how they regulate the office of the public protector. Again, one of the titles is that she's also the treasurer of the International Ombudsman Institute. In the main, I think the legal team of the suspended public protector has been trying to drive the point home that the suspension of Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane was unlawful. Yeah. And therefore, this question was then put to the witness, who seems to agree that, the suspension of a public protector or an ombudsman should never ideally be taken by a president, but should rather be taken by an institute like the parliament. Yeah. And the advocate Dalimbo did then say, leading the witness, that the current suspension of the public protector is unlawful, and the witness seems to be agreeing with that. The other, notion that the advocate Mpofu has been driving is to say that one of the criticisms that has led to the charges of the current public protector is the adverse findings that have been found against her by the courts. And the question was put to the witness to ask her whether, if a public protector is actually found to be wanting by the courts, is it necessary for that person or the incumbent to be removed? And the witness seems to suggest that that should not be the problem, or should not lead to the removal of the public protector, because the courts, by their own judgments, are actually cleansing any adverse finding, or rather incorrect finding that has been made by a public protector. So she does not see that there is a need for the incumbent to be removed from office if there are adverse findings against that person.
Yeah. Flo? Yeah, let's talk about, what Caroline Zulu-Sokoni is putting forward then to the court. It seems very interesting indeed. Does it seem as though her experiences are in line with that of our incumbent public protector advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane? It does seem from what you're saying that, her testimony is very much in favor of Advocate Mkhwebane. Is that the sense that you're getting in terms of, painting of her own experiences, and what are those experiences that she's, talking about?
I would agree with you to say that she is actually bringing witnesses that would actually, put her in the correct spotlight, or rather to shine her up, if I can use those words, because part and parcel of the evidence that we've heard so far is the broader international standards and norms that are actually governing the institution of a public protector. And the advocate Dalim Mpofu, on behalf of the suspended public protector, has actually been taking her through a list of principles, which are called the Venice principles, that actually guide the management or the regulation of the office of the public protector. And she does seem to agree, again, as I've said earlier, that any adverse court findings by a court should not lead to a removal process of the public protector. And again, Flo, as I've said earlier on, is that she does agree that the action of suspension of the incumbent public protector should never be taken by a person who is in the executive, because the public protector exists to actually, investigate the executive. And therefore, there is the potential threat that any person that is being investigated that is in the executive may use that power illegally to actually stifle any investigations against the executive. Therefore, that's why they believe that Parliament is the best institution that can exercise that power of removal. Flo?
All right. Who are we expecting to hear from as, of course, this inquiry does continue? We had heard last week that, in fact, the former public protector, Thuli Madonsela, is expected to take the stand too, and they've successfully been able to get her to come in. What are you expecting from that, and who else are we expecting to hear evidence from what you have, from the information you have?
Well, basically, tomorrow we still expect that the current witness is going to continue testifying. Of course, she will be cross-examined by the evidence leaders on the evidence that she's reading today. Members of parliament will also be getting an opportunity to actually put, clarifying questions to her. But of course, what we did get to know last week that currently, there are going to be about 8 confirmed witnesses that will be called by the legal team of the suspended public protector. Again, as you've said, is that the additional witness that will be coming before the committee is a subpoena or summons that has been issued to former public protector, Professor Thuli Madonsela, who has actually been reluctant to come and give evidence. And her evidence in the main is going to deal with how she handled the case backlogs in that office, as well as whether did she actually enlist the services of external legal firms to investigate or assist the office to investigate some of the complaints, as well as the relations that she's had during her tenure with the State Security Agency, given that one of the allegations that has been given or been put to the current suspended public protector is that she worked too much with the State Security Agency. So I guess the committee will then be called upon to juxtapose how Professor Thuli Madonsela acted during her tenure compared to what Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane has been conducting herself. Flo?
Is there a sense that there would be similarities perhaps drawn between the relationship of the former public protector Thuli Madonsela and the incumbent then, who was President Jacob Zuma, and the situation now where we have Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane versus, for lack of a better word, versus the incumbent now, President Cyril Ramaphosa? Is there a sense that there would be, kind of, I suppose, matching of notes there of some sort?
Look, Flo, in the main, I think the issue here has been that there is criticism that under Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane, the legal fees costs have actually increased exponentially. And the narrative that we've had over the months of testimonies is that those legal fees, according to Advocate Dalembofu, have actually increased because the caseload that Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane undertook is actually much higher than under Advocate Thuli Madonsela. So that is the juxtaposition that is going to be playing itself out when Professor Thuli Madonsela comes to testify before the inquiry.
All right, our senior reporter there, Bulelani Phillip, many thanks to you.